So, Monster Hunter Wilds has been out for a bit now, and it's fun! I've put more hours into this game than I'm comfortable sharing with this group, because it's so much fun. And because it's so fun, I've really wanted to do a review / rant about what I've liked about it, what I've disliked about it, you know, just scream my opinions of the game into the void and have some fun making a video for it. However, I don't do reviews, I just play the silly games and talk about mechanics, and that doesn't make for a good review. But one day while procrastinating working on a video, my friend asked me a question. It was a harmless question that may sound innocent at first. Do you want to play Monster Hunter Wilds? Or do you want to play Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate? At this point, Wilds has been out for a few weeks, so I said, you know what, let's play some GU. And so we did.
Nice parry into the tail, because that was sexy as fuck. Have fun.
Uh-oh.
You're not gonna hit me with that. You're gonna hit me with this.
Oh, I'm gonna fuck this guy up. You ready for this?
Do it.
Don't hit me. Don't hit me.
Yep.
I parried. I'm a god. I didn't parry. I suck. Oh, I parried! I got triggered still, though.
And oh my god, it was so much fun. I was hooting, I was hollering, just having fun playing the game again. More fun than I can honestly say I've been having in Monster Hunter Wilds. Now, on that point, I want to be clear from the jump that this is not going to be a comparison video of old world good, new world bad. There will be comparisons and some negative talk about things I don't like from the newer generations of Monster Hunter, but I want this to be more of a love letter to the older games and their design philosophies that we're probably not going to see anymore, at least from mainstream gaming companies. I, like many, started my Monster Hunter experience with World, and have put close to 1,000 hours in it, and I still love it. But there's something about the older games that just puts a smile on my face the whole time I'm playing them. So why do I feel this way? Is it just nostalgia for these older mechanics, or are the newer games just not the type of games I enjoy anymore? Well, I've been thinking about it a lot, and I have some things to say about it. I put them into categories, so if you want to skip around and hear different stuff, there will be chapters in the description. So, Monster Hunter is a game about hunting monsters. I know, it's crazy. But it's not only about that, at least not for me. Monster Hunter has always felt bigger than other games that have similar gameplay. In Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, you need carpenter bugs for a lot of things at the start of the game, and if you asked me where to get them, I could tell you, because I've had to farm them to upgrade my armors and weapons. It's annoying. You need bug nets in your item pouch and they can break for some reason, and when you think you get the ones you need, you suddenly need more for the next thing you want to make. But I do know where to find carpenter bugs, unlike Wilds, where, I don't know, do you know where leaf lugger ants are? I couldn't tell you, and I didn't even know they were in the game until I looked at this index. Which is nice, this index is a great feature and I like it. But while getting the ants for this clip, I was writing this script, not even looking at the game. That's what is missing for me from having to gather. I don't know these maps, my auto-walk horse does. Wild's world is big and does feel more like a nature documentary than any other Monster Hunter game that's come before, but it also feels like a ride at an amusement park because I'm just auto-walking on rails everywhere I go, to everything, for everything. Having to gather resources in older games was tedious and there was too much of it, for instance, the carpenter bugs. I needed 5 or 6 of them to make my first armor set I wanted to make and was like, boy, that took a minute, but at least I got them now. And then the next upgrade for my weapon needed 10. I was pissed, but at least I know where the bugs are now. So yes, it was tedious and yes, there was too much of it, but it serves a purpose of teaching you the maps and showing you the world. Wilds, I think, tried to teach you these areas by the auto-walk story segments where Gemma, Alma, and Nata are talking about the environments, but taking away that agency from the players and forcing them to not play the game and sit and listen took me out of it. I think World was the perfect in-between of old gen and new gen for gathering resources. It made me want to do it enough to learn the maps and learn where things are, but not enough to make it tedious like 3U does with the early carpenter bugs or killer beetles. This lack of, or rather streamlined gathering mechanic also affects one of Monster Hunter's more iconic features for me, which is preparing for the hunts. I know it's a feature many fans don't or didn't care about, but I did. For me, forgetting to eat or forgetting to restock my items was a fun thing that happened occasionally. I would load into a hunt seeing only I have a few potions and go, crap, guess we'll see what happens. Or darn, guess I need to go do that side quest to get some extra items. It was a fun inconvenience that you can overcome by playing better, using other systems like the side objectives, or using your knowledge from gathering. You can go around and get the herbs, mushrooms, and honey you need to make the mega potions for the hunt. There's also a fun co-op element to this as well. If another hunter forgot a hot drink or a max potion, you can give them some of yours to help them out. And that's just freaking awesome. The point is you had to prepare for the hunts you went on, and failing to prepare for those hunts puts you at a disadvantage. Going into a hunt, the game gave you some items at the start, so you could learn what the monster was probably going to do, and then learn what you need to bring for next time you hunt that monster. It was such an engaging and immersive way to teach players the mechanics of the game that fit the narrative of the world as well. It's also a mechanic that's completely gone. Not only is there no starting chest for a quest, which does make sense in the World and Wilds narrative because it's exploring new lands our hunters wouldn't know in Alana Barrena, paralyzes until they fought it type of thing, but there's not really a need to use specific items against monsters too much anyways anymore. Like, yes, you can use Screamer Pods to make Balahara come up or flash a Rathalos out of the sky, but quests are going by so quickly I never feel like I need to use them in Wilds like I did in other games. The same can be said with traps and nullberries. In older titles, I would use traps occasionally in combat to make a window to sharpen my weapon, to get damage in, or just to have a breather during a hard fight. Now they're exclusively for capturing monsters, and nullberries in Wilds are only necessary if you're playing with 3 or more hunters because your Palico will often cleanse your statuses faster than you can with the new cleansing bug. This lack of preparation and lack of needing these unique items in Wild feels like it was made with a fear that if the player wasn't in a hunt for a large monster or in a story cutscene, at all times they would turn off the game and never play it again. The older games have friction for new players because they have a lot of new mechanics that they have to learn and adapt to, but it's part of the fantasy of being a hunter in a world where you're fighting these big, colossal creatures. Monster Hunter has always been a power fantasy, a fantasy of you being a hunter who overcomes near impossible odds with nothing but your skill as a hunter. How you prepare, what skills you brought, and what food buffs you ate for all made for the things I fell in love with Monster Hunter for, and they just aren't there anymore. Well, they are, but they're different. Preparation can happen during a hunt. Food always gives max HP and stamina. Armor has so many skills that you can build for almost any effect a monster can do. The fantasy of the game has shifted from you being a hunter overcoming demigod-like creatures to you being a demigod bullying animals. Hunters have always been strong, but most of our strength came from our armor skills, consumables, food, and knowledge of the monsters you're fighting and the weapons you're using. There was a real learning curve to older games where you weren't just slashing away at a monster, but studying how it attacked to find windows of opportunity or safe spots to deal damage. This intrinsically made hunts longer. On average, you were probably doing less inputs per second, but every input you made was significant. The positioning and attacks you used mattered, and you would get punished by the monster for getting greedy and overcommitting to attacks. Failure wasn't only something that could happen, but it would inevitably happen during your playtime of the game. Through that failure, you would examine what you did wrong and what you could improve on, whether it was by learning how your weapon works more, using demon drugs or armor drugs, or other systems in the game. These are all the aspects of Monster Hunter that kept me coming back and kept me wanting to try the older and older games. I don't want to load into a quest and stunlock a monster with a focus attack for 7 minutes, then not carve it because I only came here to hunt for hunter tickets. I want the sets I make to have worth because they do something that the set I'm currently wearing can't. I want the massive monsters I'm fighting to flinch me when they slam on the ground, to bounce off the monster's hardened scales or rock armor, to knock me back with the sheer power of their wings flapping when they take to the sky. I want the skills that are in Wilds to have a reason to be there. All these examples you didn't need in the older games either. These skills are there for if that specific mechanic is hard for you, the hunter, to deal with, but these mechanics just don't happen, yet they remain. Things like trimmers, wind pressure, and weapon bouncing weren't just dumb design choices by older developers either. They not only made the game feel better and more grounded, but it also helped with the balancing of the game. There has been a lot of talk about difficulty in Wild, and this is a major part of why it feels so much easier for players who have been playing for a long time. Since Rise, the only way monsters have been able to keep up with the hunters is by getting faster and having more attacks that can one-shot the hunters, and that's not fun, at least not for me, and hopefully not for others. I personally play Monster Hunter to learn the fights and have a sort of turn-based dance with the monsters where you're trading attacks back and forth till one of us breaks. Not to play tag where one hit means it's all over for me. Wilds to me feels like a game that is nervous to have the hunter not be in combat and terrified to have the hunter fail a quest. They want you to be fighting in a quest as much as possible and never for you to be losing that fight. I've always been a casual fan of the Fallout series, but I've never been a major fan. But I feel I can sympathize with them now. When Fallout 4 came out, I was having a good time with it and really didn't get why I was seeing people disliking it. But I understand the sentiment more now than ever when people were saying good combat can't carry a game for very long. And that's how I feel about Wilds. Yes, the combat feels good, even if I personally don't like the focus system, but the rest of the game feels very soulless to what it used to be. Even the multiplayer, which in my opinion has always been the peak way to play the series, is so bland to how it used to be. This will be my hottest take on this video, I imagine, but I really miss being able to hit my teammates, launching them with attacks, knocking them down with a lance charge, even getting tripped by longswords. It was such a silly and fun interaction between people, and seeing everyone have flinch free in their sets just to avoid even having the possibility to interact with another hunter is just so lame to me. I have a lot more things I would like to say about Monster Hunter in general, but I think I'll wait for the title updates to come out for Wilds or make a dedicated video fully just glazing the older games I've been playing recently. I recently started Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, and so it's on my brain and I want to talk about it. People like me who enjoy the older design philosophies are in the minority of people who play games casually, and that's okay. I'm truly happy so many people are enjoying Monster Hunter Wilds and possibly falling in love with a series I came to love myself not that long ago. But it's bittersweet to know the version of the game I truly fell in love with died before I was even able to appreciate it for what it was, and will probably never see games like it again. At least not from Capcom. It seems with Wilds they've said, at least to me, that this is the direction we're going. And while I don't personally like it, and will continue to criticize and have discussions about the things I don't agree with, I doubt anything will actually change. So with hopeful optimism, I ask anyone who started their Monster Hunter journey with World or later and has made it this far in the video, please take some time to try the older games and really try to understand where the players like me are coming from. There is no us versus them in these discussions, just different perspectives, and I hope you try and see mine. Thanks for watching, I truly hope you enjoyed it. If you want to leave a sub, I would appreciate it if you can. Bye-bye!